Listen to me. When your faith is under fire, that's not the moment to run. That's the moment to stand up, square your shoulders, and remind yourself what you're made of. Because anybody can believe when the sun is shining, when the money is good, when the family is happy, when the results are coming in. But it takes another level of human being, a rare breed, to believe when everything around you is falling apart. See, faith is not tested in comfort. Faith is tested in conflict. Faith grows in the fire. Now, some of you right now are in the middle of something heavy. Maybe it's pressure, maybe it's pain, maybe it's uncertainty. And you're asking, oh, why is this happening to me? But I came to tell you, it's not happening to you. It's happening for you. You're being forged, you're being sharpened, you're being prepared. Let me be real with you. The fire isn't your enemy. The fire is the environment where weak metal bends and strong metal becomes unbreakable. You don't become elite without pressure. You don't grow wings without wind. You don't build faith without fire. Some of you are praying for strength and God is sending storms. Some of you are asking for next level success and God is removing people who can't go with you. Some of you want elevation and God is exposing the foundation you're building on so you can rebuild it stronger. And you're uncomfortable because you think you're being punished. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. Listen carefully. Faith isn't believing that everything will go your way. Faith is believing that no matter what happens, you will find a way. Faith is refusing to let circumstances dictate your commitment. Faith is pushing forward when fear tells you to pull back. Faith is waking up every day and deciding, I'm not quitting. Not today, not ever. When the fire comes, and it will come, you don't shrink, you don't hide, you don't retreat, you lean in. You say, this is my moment. This is my test. This is proof that I'm on the next level. Because the enemy doesn't attack the weak. Fire doesn't chase trash. Fire refines gold. So hear me. The pain you're in is not a sign to quit. It's a sign to trust. The delay is not denial. The setback is not final. The fire is not the end. It's the beginning of a stronger, wiser, unstoppable version of you. Stand firm. Keep moving. Believe bigger. Hold your ground when the heat rises. That's where champions are made. That's where destiny is revealed. That's where faith becomes unbreakable. This is your season to prove that your belief is stronger than your battles. This is your moment to show that your faith doesn't disappear in fire. It dominates in fire. Because you're not built to burn. You're built to rise. Growth requires heat. And I need you to understand this on a deeper level than you ever had before. Every time you've asked for strength, every time you've prayed for more discipline, every time you begged for clarity, every time you told yourself you were ready for the next chapter, you weren't asking for comfort. Because growth does not happen in cool, calm, predictable environments. Growth isn't born from convenience or ease. Growth demands resistance, demands pressure, demands intensity. And the heat you feel in your life right now is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're forming. Go back and study nature. Study steel, study diamonds, study mountains, study the strongest materials on earth. Every single one of them was created in presence of extreme force. Steel is forged in fire. Diamonds are created under crushing pressure deep in the earth. Mountains are formed when tectonic plates collide violently. Even the most majestic trees only grow strong when they survive storms and wind that try to tear them down. Nothing durable, nothing powerful, nothing legendary comes into existence without enduring something intense. The Motivational. And you are no different. The heat in your life, the challenges, the uncertainty, the moments that make you question yourself, that's not the universe trying to break you. That's the universe trying to build you. But the problem is that most people misinterpret heat. They encounter difficulty and assume it means they're on the wrong path. They hear resistance and instantly think something is wrong. They face setbacks and fall into doubt, complaining, asking why things feel so hard. What they don't realize is that every meaningful transformation must go through the fire first. You cannot strengthen a muscle without resistance. You cannot sharpen a blade without friction. You cannot deepen your character without adversity. Growth always has a cost, and that cost is rarely comfort. This is why so many people stay stuck. They want growth but avoid heat. They want strength but avoid struggle. They want progress but resist pressure. They want greatness without friction, success without sacrifice, new levels without discomfort. They want to be exceptional but live like everyone else. They want the result but refuse the process. But listen carefully. The process is the price. The heat is the doorway. The pressure is the passage. And the fire is the transformation. When you embrace this truth, something shifts inside you. Suddenly challenges don't intimidate you. They instruct you. Suddenly pressure doesn't crush you, it clarifies you. Suddenly setbacks don't discourage you, they develop you. Suddenly the heat doesn't scare you, it shapes you. You stop interpreting the fire as failure and start recognizing it as formation. You stop seeing obstacles as barriers and start seeing them as building. You stop praying for easier conditions and start praying for greater capacity. Think about a blacksmith for a moment. When he wants to shape metal into something strong and purposeful, he doesn't whisper to it. He doesn't ease it gently. He doesn't place it in a comfortable environment. He heats it until it glows red, until every weak element within it is exposed. And then, while the metal is hot and malleable, he shapes, he bends it, he strikes it, he reforges it. Not because he hates the metal, but because he sees potential in the metal that the metal cannot see in itself. The fire is not punishment. The fire is preparation. The fire is protection. The fire is purpose in disguise. Your life works the same way. The heat you feel right now is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to reveal you. It's meant to show you what's inside you, what you're capable of, what's been waiting to come out. Pressure reveals your limits so you know where to grow. Adversity reveals your weaknesses so you know what to strengthen. Challenges reveal your patterns so you know what to change. The fire reveals who you really are when everything comfortable is stripped away. Growth requires heat because heat forces you to stretch beyond what you have mastered. It pushes you to confront parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. It exposes excuses, old habits, and limiting beliefs. It burns away the version of you that can't survive at the next level. You cannot carry old mindsets into a new season. You cannot walk into the future with a past that weighs you down. You cannot become powerful while holding on to things that keep you powerless. The fire is the cleanse. The fire is the upgrade. The fire is the separation between who you were and who you're becoming. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Growth always is. But discomfort is not the enemy. Stagnation is. Pain is not the enemy. Paralysis is. The fire is not your foe, fear is. You must learn to lean into the heat instead of running from it. Because every time you run from the fire, you run from your future. Every time you avoid adversity, you avoid advancement. Every time you resist pressure, you resist your own potential. Imagine a seed planted in the soil. For that seed to grow, it must break. It must crack open. It must push through dirt, darkness, and resistance just to begin life. If the seed could speak, it might say, oh, why is this happening? Why is everything pressing against me? Why am I being buried? Why do I feel this pressure? But the seed doesn't realize that this pressure is the exact thing that activates its potential. Without darkness, it would never reach the light. Without resistance, it would never grow root roots. Without pressure, it will remain small forever. Your life is exactly like that seed. Growth demands that something in you break so something greater can come forth. And here's the part most people don't understand. Heat doesn't just shape you. It reveals the truth about what you truly want. When the environment gets hot, when the pressure increases, when the struggle intensifies, that's when people start showing their real level of commitment. Anyone can be motivated when life is easy. Anyone can say, I believe when nothing is being tested. Anyone can stay disciplined when conditions are comfortable. But when life gets hot, when obstacles multiply, when progress seems slow, that's when you find out whether your goals are desires or decisions. Desire is optional. Decision is permanent. Desire shows up when it feels good. Decision shows up no matter what. Desire quits when the heat rises. Decision gets stronger in the fire. Growth requires heat because heat purifies your intentions. It removes the people who don't support your vision. It removes the habits that no longer serve you. It removes distractions, illusions, and comfort zones. Heat forces you to choose. Will you break or will you build? Will you retreat or will you rise? Will you shrink or will you stretch? Every person who has ever achieved greatness had to walk through fire to get there. Not one of them is an exception. The strongest leaders, the greatest athletes, the most reliable workers, the most impactful thinkers, they all grew because they endured environments that demanded more from them than they thought they had. They didn't pray for lighter loads. They prayed for stronger backs. They didn't run from battles. They learned to fight smarter. They didn't crumble under pressure. They learned to breathe in it. You must adopt that same mindset. Because the heat you feel in your life right now is not random. It's refining you. It's stripping away the unnecessary. It's stretching your capacity. It's preparing you for opportunities, responsibilities, and blessings that a cooler version of you would not be ready to handle. Growth requires heat because heat wakes you up. It forces you to face reality. It eliminates mediocrity. It builds resilience. It makes you intentional. It transforms your character. Heat pushes you past average and into excellence. It takes you from survival to strength, from weakness to wisdom, from fear to fearlessness. And one day, you will look back on everything that felt like fire, and you will realize that those were the moments that made you. Those were the seasons where you learned who you really were. Those were the days when your spirit was forged, your discipline was sharpened, your vision was strengthened, and your faith became real. You will realize the heat didn't hurt you, it helped you. The fire didn't reduce you, it refined you. The pressure didn't break you, it built you. And you will finally understand that growth never came from the easy days. It always came from the heated ones. Growth requires heat, and you were built for it. Pressure exposes purpose, and most people don't realize how powerful that truth is until life squeezes them so hard they have no choice but to confront who they really are. Pressure is not just discomfort. Pressure is not just inconvenience. Pressure is the great revealer. It pulls the mask off your motivation, your discipline, your identity, your calling, and the parts of you that you try to hide in peaceful moments. Anyone can pretend to be strong when nothing is testing them. Anyone can claim to be committed when nothing is challenging them. But pressure removes all illusions, all excuses, all comfort zones, and shows the world. And more importantly, shows you what's really inside. Think about a sponge for a moment. As long as you leave it untouched, it looks simple, harmless, neutral. But the second you squeeze it, whatever was hidden inside immediately comes out. The pressure reveals the content. Your life works exactly the same way. When life squeezes you, when circumstances apply force, when seasons get difficult, whatever's inside, your beliefs, your fears, your strengths, your insecurities, your grit, your faith begins to pour out. Pressure doesn't lie. It exposes the truth, whether you're ready to see it or not. Some people discover under pressure that they have far more strength than they ever imagined. Others discover that they've been faking confidence for years and now must build the real thing. Some realize they've been relying on motivation instead of discipline, and pressure exposes that weakness so they can fix it. Some discover they've been living for approval, not purpose. Some realize they've been playing small, hiding their gifts. Others discover that fear has been running their life. Pressure brings all of this to the surface. But here's the part most people misunderstand. Pressure doesn't expose you to embarrass you. It exposes you to develop you. It exposes you to redirect you. It exposes you to prepare you for what you've been praying for. You cannot walk into your destiny carrying things that don't belong there. You cannot elevate to your next level using the same thinking that kept you comfortable at your current level. Pressure is not the enemy of purpose. Pressure activates it. Look at every great figure in history: athletes, leaders, inventors, warriors, entrepreneurs. Their greatness didn't emerge during quiet, calm, peaceful seasons. Their purpose was revealed when everything around them demanded that they rise. They discovered their calling because pressure forced them to step into it. When the situation became overwhelming, they realized they had only two choices: fold or evolve. And pressure will always show you who you are in that moment. Pressure exposes whether you truly want the thing you claim to want or whether you're just attracted to the idea of it. You can talk about success all day, but pressure will reveal whether you're willing to pay the price. You can talk about discipline, but pressure will show whether you actually have control over your habits. You can say you believe in yourself, but pressure will reveal whether that belief is rooted or borrowed. You can talk about faith, but pressure will show whether your faith is strong enough to stand when life stops being comfortable. And this is why pressure is such a gift. It's the most honest teacher you will ever encounter. It tells you where you're strong and where you're weak. It tells you what you've mastered and what you need to develop. It tells you what's genuine and what's just performance. Pressure strips everything away until only the truth remains. Many people run from pressure because they think it's trying to destroy them. But in reality, pressure is trying to free them. Free them from an illusion. freedom from complacency, freedom from fear, freedom from false identities, freedom from people who don't belong in their lives. Pressure purifies your environment and purifies your character. It eliminates what cannot go with you into your next season. Pressure is also purposeful because it awakens things inside you that will remain dormant without it. Some of your greatest strengths only appear in your hardest seasons. Some of your deepest insights only surface when life gets heavy. Some of your most powerful levels of creativity, courage, resilience, faith, and determination only show up when pressure demands it. You might think you're weak, but that's only because life hasn't applied enough pressure yet to reveal your true strength. You might think you don't have courage, but pressure hasn't yet demanded it. You might think you lack discipline, but the right challenge will force you to build it. Pressure activates parts of your spirit that comfort keeps asleep. Consider athletes in the final moments of a championship game. When the score is tied, the clock is running out, and the entire stadium is watching. That pressure forces something inside them to rise. It brings out clarity, focus, hunger, determination, leadership, not because those traits didn't exist before, but because pressure pulled them forward. Without pressure, champions will never discover their own greatness. The same exact thing is happening in your life, even if you don't recognize it yet. That difficult relationship, that financial struggle, that emotional weight, that uncertainty about the future, that stressful environment, that disappointment, that loss, that setback, none of those are random. They are pressure points. And inside each pressure point is a doorway to purpose. The pressure you feel is shaping your identity. It is telling you what matters. It is forcing you to make choices you have been avoiding. It is pushing you to grow in ways you wouldn't if life were easy. Pressure clears away distractions so you can finally hear your own voice, your own calling, your own truth. People often say, I work better under pressure. But the deeper truth is this. Under pressure, you become who you truly are. Your instincts sharpen, your priorities become clear. Your excuses disappear, your focus becomes intense. Pressure simplifies life. It forces you to confront what is essential and abandon what is not. Think about coal. Coal looks ordinary, dark, unimpressive. But when it experiences immense pressure deep within the Earth's crust, it transforms into a diamond, one of the strongest, most valuable materials on Earth. The pressure doesn't destroy the coal. It reveals what the coal was always capable of becoming. Without pressure, coal remains coal forever. But with pressure, it becomes priceless. The same transformation is possible for you. Without pressure, your gifts remain hidden. Your strength remains unused. Your potential remains untapped. Your character remains untested. But when pressure is applied, the real you emerges, refined, strengthened, clarified. Pressure is also the gateway to purpose because it forces you to choose what you stand for. You don't find purpose in comfort because comfort asks nothing from you. Purpose is discovered when life demands more from you than you think you can give. Pressure forces you to ask, who am I? What do I value? What am I willing to fight for? What am I willing to sacrifice for? What kind of person do I want to become? Those questions only appear in heated moments. And the deeper truth is this. Purpose is not given. Purpose is revealed. It is revealed through pressure, through the moments when life tests your patience, your courage, your integrity, your endurance, your faith. These moments carve you into the person capable of living out your calling. Without pressure, you will never have the resilience required for your destiny. Pressure also builds credibility. When people see you endure challenges without giving up, when they watch you continue, even when it hurts, when they see you stand firm in storms, they begin to trust you. Pressure creates leaders because people follow those who remain steady when everything around them shakes. Pressure builds your testimony. The most powerful people are those who have gone through something and survived. Not because they were perfect, but because the pressure shaped them into individuals whose lives inspire and guide others. But perhaps the most important truth is this. Pressure prepares you for what you've been asking for. You might think you're ready for success, for leadership, for growth, for opportunity, but pressure tests whether your character can sustain it. Purpose is heavy. Destiny is heavy. Responsibility is heavy. Without pressure, you wouldn't have the strength to carry what you're asking for. Your pressure is not random. It is not punishment. It is preparation. What you're feeling right now is shaping you for a future version of yourself that you haven't met yet. Pressure is molding you into someone who can walk confidently into rooms you used to dream about. Pressure is preparing you for blessings you aren't ready to receive yet. Pressure is strengthening you for opportunities that require more disciplined, wise, and more grounded version of you. So when pressure comes, instead of saying, oh, why me? Start saying, oh, what is this shaping me for? Instead of running, lean in. Instead of complaining, study the lesson. Instead of panicking, breathe and become aware of what is emerging in you. Pressure always exposes purpose, and today it is revealing yours. Faith is not proven in peaceful moments. Faith is revealed when everything familiar begins to fall apart. Anyone can claim to believe when the path is clear, the road is smooth, the outcomes look predictable, and life feels manageable. But real faith isn't measured on the mountaintop. It's measured in the valley, in the shadows, in the moments when you cannot see what's ahead, when everything feels unstable, when your emotions are loud and your future feels uncertain. Faith is not a feeling. It is a decision to trust something greater than your fear when fear is screaming the loudest. And the ironic truth is this: uncertainty is the very place where faith grows the fastest. Uncertainty strips away the illusion of control. It reminds you that no matter how organized, intelligent, or disciplined you are, there will always be moments where life refuses to follow the script you wrote in your head. You will encounter days when your plans collapse, when people let you down, when outcomes shift without warning, when what you built begins to crack, when what you hope for gets delayed, and when what you were confident about suddenly becomes unclear. In those moments, uncertainty exposes the truth about your faith. Not the faith you speak about, but the faith you actually live. Because real faith begins where your understanding ends. Real faith steps forward even when the path is blurry. Real faith keeps moving even when logic says stop. Real faith survives when evidence disappears. And it's in the moments when you don't know what comes next that faith is stretched, strengthened, deepened, and matured. Uncertainty is uncomfortable, but discomfort is the soil where spiritual growth takes root. Growth takes root. When life becomes unpredictable, your faith is forced to work muscles it has never used before. You learn to trust what cannot be seen. You learn to believe in possibilities instead of guarantees. You learn to walk not by sight, but by conviction. You learn to hold on, not because everything is clear, but because you refuse to let go of your belief that breakthrough is still possible. Think about a seed planted deep in the ground. It sits in darkness, buried in soil, unsure of what is happening around it. From the outside, it looks like nothing is changing, but in reality, everything is changing. Beneath the surface, the seed is cracking open, expanding, preparing for growth. That darkness, that uncertainty, that hidden environment is necessary for transformation. Without being buried, it cannot rise. Without darkness, it cannot reach the light. Without uncertainty, it cannot become what it was created to be. Your life works the same way. The dark, uncertain seasons are not empty. They are developing you. They are teaching you patience, teaching you trust, teaching you resilience, teaching you spiritual maturity. You might feel buried right now, but you're not buried. You're being planted. Uncertainty often feels like loss, but in truth, it is transition. It is the in-between space where old things end and new things begin. This space can feel frightening because it lacks clarity. You don't yet know the outcome. You don't have a timeline. You don't have full control. You don't know how long the season will last or what exactly will emerge on the other side. But this is precisely where faith transforms from an idea into a living force inside you. Uncertainty forces you to let go of the belief that you must know everything before you move. It forces you to release the illusion that your power comes from your plans instead of your perseverance. It forces you to release control so you can trust the process. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that faith means certainty. But faith is not certainty. Faith is confidence in uncertainty. Faith is choosing trust even when the situation gives you every reason to doubt. Faith is holding on to vision when circumstances contradict your expectations. Faith is believing in a positive outcome when everything around you looks negative. Faith is choosing courage when fear tries to shut you down. Some of the most important breakthroughs in life happen right after seasons of intense uncertainty, because uncertainty pushes you past the limits of your comfort zone. It forces you into deeper levels of creativity, problem solving, spiritual awareness, and inner strength. When familiar paths vanish, new paths are revealed. When old opportunities disappear, new ones are created. When your safety net feels like it's been removed, you learn how to balance without it. But most people never reach that breakthrough because they mistake uncertainty for danger instead of seeing it as transformation. They panic instead of pausing. They retreat instead of reflecting. They quit instead of questioning what the moment is trying to teach them. Uncertainty is not a signal to stop. It's an invitation to grow. Every great story, every great achievement, every strong leader, every successful person, all of them had to walk through seasons of uncertainty that tested them, shaped them, humbled them, and prepared them. The uncertainty was not a detour. It was a necessary bridge to their next level. When you're in a season of uncertainty, your thoughts will often try to convince you that you're alone, that you're failing, that you're stuck, or that you made the wrong choice. But uncertainty is not the enemy. Fear thrives in uncertainty because it loves to magnify the worst possibilities and hide the best ones. Fear whispers, what if it all falls apart? While faith whispers, what if this is the moment everything comes together? Uncertainty is the battlefield where these two voices collide, and the voice you listen to determines the life you live. If fear dominates your thoughts, uncertainty becomes a cage. If faith dominates your thoughts, uncertainty becomes a classroom. Fear makes you freeze. Faith makes you move. Fear makes you doubt. Faith makes you discover. Fear makes you look at problems. Faith makes you look at possibilities. Fear sees obstacles. Faith sees opportunities. Fear sees what is missing. Faith sees what is maturing. Every uncertain season contains hidden gifts, insight, skills, maturity, confidence, clarity. But those gifts only reveal themselves when you lean in with faith instead of shrinking back in fear. Uncertainty also does something profound. It cleans your circle. When life becomes unclear, people either stand with you or step away. Uncertainty exposes who belongs in your future and who only fit in your past. Those who stay with you in uncertain season are the people who believe not just in your present, but in your potential. Uncertainty reveals loyalty, sincerity, and alignment. It also reveals your inner dialogue. You begin to hear your real thoughts, not the ones you speak outwardly, but the ones you whisper inwardly. You discover the doubts you need to silence, the insecurities you need to address, and the beliefs you need to strengthen. Uncertainty forces you to confront your inner world because that's the only world you can control when everything outside feels unpredictable. Another powerful truth is that uncertainty gives birth to innovation. When traditional paths close, new strategies are created. When old systems fall apart, new ideas emerge. When your routine collapses, creativity rises. Some of the greatest inventions, movements, breakthroughs, and transformations in history were birthed out of uncertainty. The discomfort of not knowing pushes the human mind into deeper levels of intent and imagination. Uncertainty pushes you to think, to learn, to adapt, to stretch, to grow, to evolve. It removes autopilot. It removes complacency. It removes laziness. Uncertainty wakes you up. Faith during uncertainty requires something that many people avoid. Surrender. Not surrender in the sense of giving up, but surrender in the sense of accepting that you do not need to control every detail to make progress. Surrender says, I'm walking forward even if I can't see the whole staircase. Surrender says, I trust the timing even when it's slower than I want. Surrender says, I believe something good is forming even when I can't see the evidence yet. This form of surrender strengthens you, not weakens you. It teaches you emotional balance. It teaches you how to breathe through chaos. It teaches you patience. It teaches you spiritual maturity. It teaches you how to stay grounded even when life shakes. The truth is this: the most powerful version of you is formed in uncertainty. When nothing is predictable, you learn to become adaptable. When nothing is guaranteed, you learn resilience. When nothing is stable, you learn inner strength. When nothing makes sense, you learn perspective. When you can't lean on your plans, you learn to lean on your principles. When you can't depend on the outcome, you learn to depend on your character. Uncertainty is not your enemy. It is your evolver. It is there to grow you, stretch you, strengthen you, and reveal parts of you that comfort will never activate. And one day when you look back at this uncertain season, you will realize it was not the moment your life fell apart. It was the moment your faith finally came alive. Adversity is not always the enemy we imagine it to be. In fact, adversity often becomes the very force that wakes us up, shapes us, strengthens us, and pulls out of us a level of power we didn't know we had. Most people try their whole lives to avoid adversity, praying for comfort, hoping for ease, wishing for smooth paths and predictable days. But the truth is, comfort may make you feel good, but comfort rarely makes you great. Comfort soothes you, but adversity sharpens you. Comfort keeps you where you are, but adversity prepares you for where you're meant to go. Adversity is uncomfortable, but discomfort is where identity is revealed and destiny is formed. Every storm you face, every setback you endure, every challenge that pushes you to your limit carries within it a hidden assignment to develop the strength that your next level will require. Life doesn't give you adversity to break you. Life gives you adversity to build you. Think about how muscles grow. In the gym, the weights actually tear your muscle fibers. The resistance causes small breaks. It feels painful. It feels intense. But without that tearing, without that pressure, without that stress, the muscle can never grow. Your character, your discipline, your faith, your resilience, your confidence, all of them grow the same way. Adversity tears, but it also rebuilds. It hurts, but it also strengthens. It challenges, but it also transforms. No one becomes strong by living an easy life. You become strong because life pushed you, tested you, humbled you, and demanded more from you than you thought you could give. The situations that frustrated you, the seasons that confused you, the moments that exhausted you, those were not punishments. Those were training sessions. Adversity is life's way of preparing you for responsibility. You cannot lead without strength. You cannot succeed without resilience. You cannot grow without challenge. You cannot mature without pressure. Every major blessing, opportunity, or breakthrough requires a version of you that is stable enough to sustain it. Adversity is the training ground where that version of you is born. But the problem is that most people interpret adversity incorrectly. They see difficulty as a sign to quit instead of a sign to evolve. They see obstacles as blockages instead of bridges. They see pain as a reason to surrender instead of a catalyst for growth. They think adversity is life working against them, when in reality, adversity is life partnering with them to produce greatness. Adversity introduces you to yourself. It shows you who you are when life isn't going your way. It reveals your patience, your courage, your endurance, your integrity, your faith. In easy seasons, you can pretend to be disciplined, focused, or spiritually grounded. But adversity removes the mask. Adversity exposes the real you, not to shame you, but to shape you. You cannot improve what you refuse to acknowledge. And adversity brings your weaknesses to light so you can strengthen them. Adversity also reveals who belongs in your life. People will celebrate with you on the mountaintop, but only a few will stand with you in the valley. Adversity filters your circle. It removes those who only liked you for your success and leaves those who truly value your soul. It exposes the intentions of others so you can walk into your future with the right people, not just any people. And adversity reveals your real priorities. In comfortable seasons, you can pretend that everything matters. But when adversity strikes, when life gets real, you quickly discover what actually deserves your energy, your peace, your growth, your character, your mission. Adversity forces you to choose what matters and release what doesn't. It declutters your life from distractions, toxic patterns, unhealthy attachments, and emotional baggage. Adversity is also a teacher. Every difficult moment carries a lesson that cannot be learned in comfort. Adversity teaches patience. You learn to wait without losing hope. Adversity teaches faith. You learn to believe even when the situation says otherwise. Adversity teaches discipline. You learn to do what is necessary regardless of your feelings. Adversity teaches humility. You learn that you cannot control everything, and that's okay. Adversity teaches perspective. You learn to see beyond temporary moments and understand long-term purpose. The truth is, adversity is often the answer to the prayers you prayed. You ask for strength. Adversity gives you opportunities to grow stronger. You ask for courage. Adversity places you in situations where courage becomes necessary. You ask for wisdom. Teaches you lessons you couldn't learn any other way. You ask for breakthrough. Adversity breaks the version of you that cannot enter your next season. You ask for elevation. Adversity prepares your character so you can handle that elevation without collapsing under its weight. Adversity not only reveals your strength, it expands. There are strengths inside you that you will not discover until life forces you to use them. You will never know how resilient you are until life knocks you down. You will never know how courageous you are until you face fear head on. You will never know how powerful your faith is until your situation gives you no choice but to trust. You will never know how much perseverance you have until you must continue, even when everything in you wants to quit. This is why adversity is essential, because it pulls out of you what comfort keeps hidden. Think about a diamond. Before it becomes something valuable, something admired, something shining, it is first put under intense heat and pressure. Without that pressure, it remains just a rock. Without adversity, you remain in a lower version of yourself. But when pressure is applied, when adversity hits, the real beauty, the real strength, the real value inside you begins to emerge. Adversity is not trying to destroy you. It is trying to introduce you to a version of yourself that you have not yet met. When adversity comes, your first instinct might be to ask, oh, why me? But a better question is, oh, what is this preparing me for? Because adversity is always preparation. Your future requires qualities your present self does not yet possess. And adversity is the process through which those qualities are developed. Some adversity comes suddenly, like a storm that appears without warning. Other adversity builds slowly over time, like a pressure that keeps growing. Some adversity is emotional, some is physical, some is financial, some is relational, some is spiritual. But all adversity shares a common purpose: transformation. Transformation rarely feels good while it's happening. Growth usually feels like discomfort. Progress often feels like pain. But what feels painful now will become powerful later. What feels overwhelming now will become wisdom later. What feels challenging now will become confidence later. What feels confusing now will become clarity later. Adversity is temporary, but the strength it produces is permanent. Many people don't realize that adversity also creates gratitude. When you survive what you thought would break you, you become grateful for your endurance. When you overcome something you didn't think you could, you become grateful for your growth. When you make it through something painful, you appreciate peace on a deeper level. When you rise after falling, you value stability more than comfort. Adversity deepens your appreciation for everything that comes after. Adversity also develops emotional intelligence. It teaches you self-control in chaos. It teaches you how to respond instead of react. It teaches you how to process your emotions instead of burying them. It teaches you to listen to your inner wisdom instead of impulsively acting out of fear. Adversity matures your heart and stabilizes your spirit. And perhaps one of the most powerful aspects of adversity is this: adversity builds your story. Your story is what others will one day draw hope from. People do not connect with perfection. They connect with struggle. They connect with honesty. They connect with perseverance. They connect with your ability to rise again. Your adversity becomes someone else's survival guide. Your pain becomes someone else's blueprint. Your resilience becomes someone else's inspiration. Adversity gives you the authority to speak life into others because you have lived through what they're living through. You cannot teach what you have not survived. You cannot guide others to the light if you've never walked through the darkness. Your adversity becomes your credibility. So the next time adversity stands in front of you, don't assume it's blocking your path. It might be building your strength. It might be sharpening your vision. It might be clearing your circle. It might be developing your character. It might be redirecting your steps. It might be preparing you for a blessing that requires a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of you. The adversity you face today is not the end of your story. It's the chapter where your transformation begins. Discomfort is one of the most misunderstood forces in a human life. Most people run from it, hide from it, avoid it, and try to organize their entire existence around staying safe, staying comfortable, and staying away from anything that stretches them. But what they don't realize is that discomfort isn't a curse, it isn't a sign of weakness, and it isn't a punishment. Discomfort is often divine direction. It is the gentle push, and sometimes a violent shove that moves you from the place you've outgrown to the place you are destined to grow into the potential. When people pray for change but resist the discomfort that fuels that change, they unknowingly fight against the very process meant to elevate them. And that's why so many people stay stuck. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they cannot discern the message hidden inside their discomfort. You see, every time you start to outgrow a season, life begins to tighten around you. The job you once enjoyed becomes draining. The environment you once felt safe in becomes restrictive. The people you once aligned with become mismatched. The goals that once excited you no longer carry any fire. And you feel uneasy, irritated, confused. You feel a tension you can't describe. That tension is direction. That discomfort is instruction. It is the universe telling you that you are becoming too big for your current container. And just like a plant whose roots have outgrown the pot, you cannot flourish unless you're moved into new soil. But unlike a plant, you fight the repotting process because discomfort scares you. You cling to the familiar even when the familiar no longer nurtures you. You hold on to the old soil even when it no longer has nutrients for the person you're becoming. When you look at nature, everything grows by leaning into discomfort. A butterfly must struggle inside the cocoon, and that struggle strengthens its wing. If you cut the cocoon open to help, the butterfly dies because its wings never develop the strength needed for flight. A chick must wrestle its way out of the egg, not because nature is cruel, but because the battle to break free bears the muscles required to survive. A seed must break open in the dark soil before it ever sees light. Nothing becomes what it is destined to be without discomfort. So why do you think you should? Why do you believe growth should be easy, painless, soft, and convenient? Whoever told you that lied to you. Growth is uncomfortable by design. Think about every major shift in your life. Think about every blessing you walked into. Think about every breakthrough, every elevation, every transformation. Almost all of it was preceded by a season of discomfort. You didn't leave that toxic job until you were fed up. You didn't walk away from that unhealthy relationship until the pain became unbearable. You didn't pursue your purpose until staying where you were started hurting more than risking the unknown. Discomfort was the catalyst. It pushed you. It moved you. It whispered, you don't belong here anymore. You see, you do not change when you're comfortable. Comfort doesn't challenge you. Comfort doesn't stretch you. Comfort only reinforces where you are, not where you're supposed to go. Some people stay in the wrong season for years because they misinterpret discomfort. They think it's a sign they're failing, when in reality it's a sign they've outgrown the place they're standing. They think discomfort means they're on the wrong path, when it often means they're finally stepping onto the right one. Growth hurts before it helps. Elevation feels like breaking before it feels like rising. The body gets sore before it gets stronger. The heart aches before it heals. The spirit shakes before it stabilizes. That is the nature of transformation. You cannot expand without pressure. You cannot elevate without friction. You cannot evolve without discomfort. And let me be very clear, not all discomfort is created equal. There is toxic discomfort, the kind that comes from environments that damage your spirit, drain your energy, and destroy your potential. But then there is divine discomfort, the kind that pushes you to stretch, to elevate, to dig deeper, to become more disciplined, more aware, more intentional, more aligned. Most people confuse the two. Toxic discomfort breaks you. Divine discomfort builds you. Toxic discomfort weakens your identity. Divine discomfort reveals your identity. Toxic discomfort keeps you wounded. Divine discomfort keeps you growing. You must learn to discern the difference. Some of you are praying for clarity, but the clarity is already there. Your discomfort is telling you what no one else will. Your discomfort is saying, move. Your discomfort is saying, grow. Your discomfort is saying, we're bigger than this. Your discomfort is saying, this chapter is over. But because you want the next season without leaving the current one, you ignore the signals. You shut your ears. You pretend the uneasiness is random. But there is nothing random about divine discomfort. It is a compass. It is guidance. It is direction. You're not supposed to feel at home in places beneath your potential. You're not supposed to feel content in environments that shrink you. You're not supposed to feel comfortable in relationships that distract you from your purpose. Discomfort wakes you up. It forces you to look at what you've been tolerating. Sometimes God will let the very thing you're clinging to start falling apart. Not to hurt you, but to free you. Not to punish you, but to reposition you. Not to break you down, but to break you out. When discomfort shows up, stop asking, why me? Start asking, where is this pushing me? When a season becomes unbearable, ask, what am I holding on to that I should have released? When a habit becomes exhausting, ask, what is this trying to teach me about who I'm becoming? When a door closes, don't cry because it locked. You should ask yourself why you were still standing in front of it when you outgrew what was behind it a long time ago. Sometimes discomfort is simply showing you that you're living too small. You're playing safe. You're accepting average when greatness is calling your name. You're holding on to limits that don't even belong to you. And so life applies pressure. Your soul starts aching for more. Your spirit refuses to settle. The fire inside you refuses to go out. That ache, that restlessness, that pull, it's not confusion. It's direction. If you follow it, you grow. If you ignore it, you shrink. And here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Discomfort exposes you. It shows you where your faith really sits. Anybody can have faith when everything is pleasant. But when discomfort hits, that's when your belief is tested. Do you trust the process even when the process hurts? Do you trust the journey even when the path isn't clear? Do you trust the timing even when it feels delayed? That's where faith becomes real. Faith without discomfort isn't faith. It's convenience. Faith is choosing to move forward even when the familiar is begging you to stay. Faith is trusting that the discomfort is shaping you, not destroying you. Faith is believing that if the environment you're in is shrinking, it's because you're meant to expand. Discomfort also teaches you resilience. It teaches you grit. It teaches you how to stand, how to fight, how to persist, how to breathe through the pressure instead of collapsing beneath it. You gain strength you didn't know you had. You learn discipline you didn't know you needed. You grow courage you didn't know you possessed. All of it comes from discomfort. You cannot become powerful while living in ease. Ease doesn't teach. Ease doesn't train. Ease doesn't prepare. Ease keeps you soft. Discomfort sharpens you. And isn't it interesting that every story of greatness, every success story, every legend, every champion, every giant you admire, none of them became who they are through comfort. Their greatness was forged in the uncomfortable places. Their breakthroughs were born in the moments they wanted to quit. Their strength came from battles they didn't think they could survive. And when you listen to them speak, almost all of them say, I wouldn't be who I am today without that painful season. They didn't love the discomfort, but they respected it. They honored what it produced. Your life works the same way. The discomfort you are experiencing right now may be the very proof that you are entering a higher level. You're being stretched. You're being shifted. You're being molded. Don't fight the process. Don't retreat back into what feels safe but doesn't serve you. Don't choose comfort over calling. Don't choose ease over elevation. Don't choose familiar pain over unfamiliar possibility. The discomfort is not here to defeat you. It's here to direct you. At some point, you must ask yourself, do you want comfort or do you want change? Because you rarely get both. Comfort keeps you where you are. Discomfort carries you to where you're meant to be. And if you can learn to embrace discomfort, not love it, but respect it, you will find that it becomes one of your greatest guides. It will lead you to opportunities you didn't know existed. It will push you toward the version of yourself you've been avoiding. It will pull you out of the places you settle. It will propel you into a future that aligns with your gifts, your purpose, your potential. You may not feel ready. You may not feel prepared. You may not feel confident. But discomfort doesn't show up when you feel ready. It shows up when it's time. And when it's time, you don't need certainty. You need courage. You don't need a full map. You just need the first step. You don't need to see the whole staircase to climb it. You just need enough faith to trust that discomfort is not your enemy. It is your direction. It is your evolution. It is your invitation to rise. Some chapters in your life only make sense once you look back and realize why certain people, habits, and mindsets had to fall away. In the moment, it feels painful, confusing, and sometimes even personal. You think something is wrong with you. You think you're losing pieces of your life. You think everything is falling apart for no reason. But what you don't understand in those moments is that the fire isn't destroying you. It's removing everything that can't go with you to the next season. Elevation demands separation, and growth requires subtraction before it ever brings addition. You can't take everyone with you. You can't take every habit with you. You can't take every version of yourself with you. Some parts of your life must burn away because they were never meant to survive the weight of where you're going. When you ask for growth, you're not just asking for new blessing. You're asking for the removal of old burdens. But the removal process doesn't feel pleasant. It feels like pruning. It feels like loss. It feels like discomfort. It feels like endings. Yet those endings are the beginning of the life you've been praying for. The fire shows up not to punish you, but to refine you. And in that refining process, everything weak, unstable, unnecessary, or misaligned starts to fall away. The problem is that most people try to cling to the very things life is trying to release. They fight the pruning. They resist the separation. They try to drag people into their future who belong to their past. They try to hold on to habits that sabotage their progress. They try to carry old mindsets into new season. And because of that resistance, the process becomes more painful than it needs to be. Let's talk about people first. Some people were never meant to stay with you long term. They were seasonal characters, not lifelong companions. They helped you in one chapter, but they can't contribute to the next one. Their energy no longer aligns with your mission. Their mindset no longer matches your direction. Their presence no longer adds to your growth. And instead of recognizing the shift, you try to force the connection out of loyalty. But loyalty to the wrong people can delay your destiny. You can't grow around people who are committed to staying the same. You can't elevate with people who fear heights. You can't take flight with people who prefer the ground. And so the fire steps in. Suddenly the relationship gets rocky. The communication fades. The bond weakens. Misunderstandings increase. The energy shifts. And you feel hurt, confused, abandoned. But the truth is that life isn't taking something valuable from you. It's removing what would have held you back. When doors start closing, when circles start shrinking, when people start drifting, don't panic. Don't chase. Don't cling. Trust that the fire knows what it's doing. If someone leaves your life unexpectedly, it's because they were never strong enough to handle the weight of where you're going. Some people will sabotage your future if they stayed too long. Some would distract you, some would derail you, some would drain you. And the fire removes them before they can damage your destiny. What feels like rejection is often protection. What feels like loss is actually liberation. And the moment you stop fighting for what's leaving is the moment you start making room for what's coming. Now let's talk about habits. You cannot take undisciplined habits into a season that demands excellence. You cannot take procrastination into a season that requires consistency. You cannot take laziness into a season where your gifts are supposed to shine. The fire will expose these habits by making them uncomfortable. You'll start feeling guilty about the things you used to enjoy. You'll feel restless when you waste time. You'll feel disgusted with shortcuts. You'll feel irritated with your own excuses. This is not self-hate. This is self-awareness growing. The fire is revealing the habits that stand between you and your potential. You're being pushed to become disciplined, focused, committed, and intentional. The destructive habits you once found comfort in will no longer provide comfort. They will start feeling heavy, embarrassing, draining. The fire burns away what weakens you so you can replace it with what strengthens you. Growth also requires that old mindsets burn away. Some of you are carrying beliefs that no longer serve the version of you that is emerging. You still think small while opportunities are calling you to expand. You still see yourself as unworthy while life is preparing you for something bigger. You still operate from fear while your future requires boldness. The fire will challenge these mindsets. It will put you in situations where you must think differently, respond differently, rise differently, rise differently. The thoughts that once helped you survive are now limiting your ability to thrive. So the fire goes to work. It burns away doubt by putting you in positions where you must believe in yourself. It burns away fear by confronting you with situations you can no longer avoid. It burns away scarcity by showing you that you have more capability, more power, and more potential than you ever acknowledged. Mindset shifts don't feel comfortable. They feel like identity crises, but they're necessary. You can't go to the next level thinking like someone who belongs at the last one. What many people fail to understand is that the fire is selective. It does not destroy what is aligned. It only eliminates what is misaligned. It doesn't touch your purpose. It only melts away the layers covering it. It doesn't touch the core of who you are. It only removes the fears, doubts, distractions, and attachments that keep you from stepping fully into your power. The fire is not your enemy. It is your filter. It separates the essential from the excessive. It reveals the truth by burning away the illusion And everything that remains after the fire is stronger, purer, more focused, and more powerful. Think about gold. Before it becomes valuable, before it becomes beautiful, before it becomes something people desire, it must go through fire. The fire doesn't ruin it, it refines it. The impurities are burned away, the weak parts melt off. The gold emerges clearer, brighter, and more valuable than before. You are gold being refined. And the impurities, old relationships, old habits, old fears, old beliefs must melt away for your true value to emerge. Some of you are grieving what the fire is taking, not realizing that what's being removed is the very thing stopping you from rising. You're crying over what you should be celebrating. The breakup saved you. The rejection redirected you. The closed door protected you. The disappointment built you. The loss taught you. You're not being reduced, you're being refined. You're not being stripped, you're being strengthened. You're not being abandoned, you're being aligned. And here's the powerful truth. What the fire removes, it never returns. Because once you grow beyond something, you cannot shrink back into it. Once your spirit elevates, the old environment will feel suffocating. Once your mind expands, the old patterns will feel toxic. Once your heart matures, the old relationships will feel draining. Once you rise, the old version of yourself cannot survive at that altitude. So don't fear the fire. Honor it. Trust it. Let it do its work. Let it remove what isn't worthy of your future. Let it cleanse your path. Let it lighten your load. Let it refine your identity. Because everything that burns away is making space for everything that's meant to stay. And what remains after the fire is the version of you that is ready, truly ready, for the elevation you've been praying for. Pain has a way of speaking a language that comfort never could. Pain is honest. Pain is revealing. Pain exposes the gaps in your belief, the cracks in your character, the wounds you try to bury, and the strength you didn't even know you had. Most people see pain as a punishment, as a sign that they're going backward, that life is attacking them, that God has abandoned. But what they fail to understand is that pain is often the loudest classroom you will ever sit in. Pain teaches with immediacy. Pain forces awareness. Pain demands reflection. Pain grabs your attention in ways blessings never do. And when your faith is under fire, pain becomes a sculptor. It breaks, molds, reshapes, and rebuilds you into someone who can carry the weight of the destiny you keep praying for. Some lessons cannot be taught through ease. Some lessons cannot be understood through comfort. Some lessons require the sting of disappointment, the ache of loss, the shock of betrayal, or the heaviness of uncertainty. Not because life is cruel, but because some parts of you will never evolve unless something shakes you deeply enough to wake you up. You cannot develop deep faith if you've never had to depend on something beyond your own strength. You cannot develop emotional resilience if your heart has never been tested. You cannot develop perseverance if you've never faced a situation that demanded endurance. Pain becomes the training ground for strength, mental, emotional, spiritual, and even physical. The stronger version of you is always hiding inside the hurt version of you, waiting for the right pressure to bring it out. Think about the seasons in your life where you grew the most. They were rarely the seasons where everything was perfect. They were the seasons where life forced you to confront yourself. The seasons where you had to question your beliefs, examine your habits, face your flaws, challenge your fears, and release your attachments. Pain stripped away your illusion. It showed you who you really were when the mask came off. It revealed what you truly believed. Not what you said you believed. Not what you pretended to believe. But what your soul actually depended on. Pain teaches authenticity. You learn to stop lying to yourself. You learn to stop pretending you're okay. You learn to stop hiding behind excuses. The more pain strips away, the more clearly you see your truth. Pain also teaches humility. When everything is going well, you can start believing you control more than you actually do. You can start relying on your own strength, your own intelligence, your own plans. But pain reminds you that you are not the author of every chapter. Pain reminds you that life can shift in an instant. Pain reminds you that you need support, that you need guidance, that you need faith. Humility isn't weakness, it's awareness. Awareness that you don't have to carry everything alone. Awareness that surrender is not defeat, it is wisdom. And pain often pushes you to that surrender, to that deeper understanding that you are being guided, shaped, and developed even when it doesn't feel good. Pain also reveals your capacity. You don't know how strong you are until being strong is the only option left. You don't know how much you can carry until life hands you something heavy. You don't know how much resilience you possess until you face something that tries to break you. You don't know how much courage you have until you have to act in spite of fear. Pain introduces you to your hidden potential. It forces you to reach inside yourself and pull out strength you didn't even know existed. And once you discover that strength, you never return to the person who doubted themselves. Pain permanently expands your capacity. Another powerful lesson pain teaches is perspective. Pain changes the way you see everything. Suddenly, you appreciate things you used to take for granted. You value peace. You value time. You value genuine relationships. You value growth. You stop wasting energy on drama, on ego, on people who don't match your spirit. Pain sharpens your priorities. It helps you see what matters and what doesn't. It makes you more intentional about the way you use your energy, your focus, your resources, your time. Pain teaches gratitude, not for the suffering itself, but for the wisdom it produces, the clarity it brings, and the strength it bursts within you. Pain teaches endurance too. Anybody can be positive when life is easy. Anybody can have faith when they're winning. Anybody can believe when everything makes sense. But endurance is built in the seasons where nothing adds up. When doors close, when plans fall apart, when the people you trusted hurt you, when the path ahead is unclear. Endurance is built in the waiting and the uncertainty and the silence. Pain teaches you how to stand even when everything in you wants to collapse. It teaches you how to breathe through the storm instead of running from it. It teaches you that you can push through even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when you're hurting. Perhaps the most transformative thing pain teaches is self-trust. When you go through painful experiences and come out on the other side, you begin to trust your ability to navigate life. You realize you can survive heartbreak. You realize you can rebuild after loss. You realize you can rise after failure. You realize you can overcome what once terrified you. Pain becomes proof of your strength. And once you've built that level of self-trust, your confidence becomes unshakable. Not because you believe life will be easy, but because you believe you can handle whatever life brings. Pain also softens you. It makes you more compassionate, more understanding. You stop judging people so quickly because you know what silent battles feel like. You listen more. You empathize more. You forgive more easily, not because people deserved it, but because you refuse to carry heaviness that blocks your peace. Pain expands your heart. It opens you up to deeper connections, deeper gratitude, deeper spirituality. You become more aware of your purpose, more aligned with your values, more intentional about the way you show up in the world. But here's something you must understand. Pain isn't the lesson. Your response to pain is. Pain does not automatically make you wiser. Pain does not automatically make you stronger. Pain does not automatically elevate you. Some people experience pain and become bitter. Others experience pain and become better. Some grow resentful. Others grow resilient. Some close their hearts. Others open them wider. Some lose faith. Others deepen it. Pain creates the opportunity for transformation, but you choose whether you rise or remain the same. Your faith becomes the deciding factor. When your faith is under fire, pain becomes a tool instead of a trap. You start interpreting experiences differently. Instead of asking, oh, why is this happening to me? You ask, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of believing you're cursed, you believe you're being carved into something stronger. Instead of collapsing under the pressure, you rise through it because you trust that nothing you are experiencing is wasted. Faith turns pain into preparation. Every scar you carry tells a story, not of defeat, but of survival, not of weakness, but of endurance, not of hopelessness, but of healing. You are still standing. You are still breathing. You are still growing. You are still becoming. And the pain you endure played a role in shaping the strength you now possess. No warrior becomes a warrior without wounds. No champion becomes a champion without challenges. No leader becomes a leader without losses. Your pain is part of your preparation for the person you are destined to become. And someday, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, you will look back on this season and say, I didn't understand, but now I see why I had to go through that fire. You will see the growth it forced out of you. You will see the strength it built within you. You will see the wisdom it carved into you. You will see the resilience it ignited in you. You will see the faith it awakened in you. Pain teaches, but only when you're willing to learn. Accept the lesson. Honor the process. Trust the transformation. Because the pain you're experiencing today is shaping the power you'll walk with tomorrow. Faith under fire is not simply about believing when life is easy. It's about believing when every element around you is telling you to give up, when the world seems to be crumbling, when your plans fail, and when your hopes feel like they've been trampled under the weight of disappointment. Faith under fire is not theoretical, it's practical. It is tested in the crucible of struggle, in the moments when your body wants to quit, your mind wants to surrender, and your spirit wants to collapse. This kind of faith is forged in the tension between what is and what could be, between your present reality and the promise of your potential, between the pain you are feeling and the victory that has not yet appeared. Faith under fire is active, not passive, not passive. It requires courage, perseverance, focus, and the willingness to stand when everything in you screams to run. When fire hits, faith becomes a choice. You can look around at the chaos, the rejection, the setbacks, the disappointments, and you can decide to allow those circumstances to define you. Or you can choose to define yourself by your response to them. Faith under fire is choosing to trust what you cannot yet see. It is holding on to hope when hope seems distant. It is believing in your purpose even when the path is unclear. It is moving forward with conviction when there's no visible evidence that the next step will succeed. Most people wait for circumstances to line up before they take a step of faith. But faith under fire takes the step first and allows circumstances to catch up later. Faith under fire demands that you maintain perspective. It requires understanding that challenges are not permanent, that storms eventually pass, and that setbacks are often temporary. But perspective is more than knowing intellectually that hardships are temporary. It's a deep, emotional, and spiritual understanding that what is happening now is a necessary part of the process. Without perspective, fire can become overwhelming. Without perspective, you can become consumed by the difficulty and lose sight of the lesson. Faith under fire means anchoring yourself to the truth that beyond the current pain is growth, beyond the current struggle is transformation, and beyond the current limitation is opportunity. Faith under fire also calls for resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover, to stand again, to rise after falling, and to continue even when progress is slow, invisible, or non-existent. The fire is meant to test resilience because resilience is what separates those who merely survive from those who thrive. Faith without resilience is fragile. It breaks under pressure. It crumbles when disappointment comes. But faith that is resilient is unshakable, unmovable, and unstoppable. Resilience is built through repeated confrontation with adversity, through facing challenges without surrendering, through enduring pain without losing vision. Every trial is an opportunity to deepen resilience. Every obstacle is a chance to strengthen endurance. Every hardship is a moment to reinforce commitment. Faith under fire is also about humility. It's about acknowledging that you are not in control of everything and that some things are bigger than you. Fire often arrives to show you the limits of your own strength and the necessity of relying on something greater than yourself. True faith is never independent, it's interdependent. It recognizes that while you have responsibility, ability, and initiative, you also need guidance, support, and divine direction to navigate challenges you cannot face alone. Humility allows you to accept help, receive wisdom, and lean into sources of strength outside yourself. Pride can lead you to resist the lessons of fire, but humility opens the door for growth. Another critical element of faith under fire is patience. When everything is being tested, when delays feel unbearable, and when the timing of outcome seems off, patience becomes essential. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active endurance. It's continuing to trust the process, to maintain discipline, to keep preparing while waiting for results that are not yet visible. Patience allows you to stay aligned with your purpose, even when progress is invisible. It gives you the ability to endure prolonged trials without losing hope or direction. Patience is a strength that fire develops over time, and it is one of the most difficult yet powerful elements of sustaining faith under pressure. Faith under fire also demands courage. The courage to face what is uncomfortable, the courage to continue despite fear, the courage to move forward when the next step is unknown. Fire will always present fear. Fear is the natural companion of uncertainty and challenge. But faith under fire does not deny fear. It acknowledges it and moves forward anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Every moment of courage under fire strengthens faith because it reinforces the understanding that you are capable of facing what seems insurmountable. Each step taken in courage builds momentum, reinforces resilience, and validates the inner strength you possess. Faith under fire is also about vision. Vision is the ability to see beyond the present difficulty to the future potential. Fire can blind you to possibilities. It can obscure the path ahead, and it can make the future feel uncertain or impossible. But faith keeps the vision alive. It allows you to see the bigger picture, to hold on to goals and purpose, even when the present reality does not reflect it. Vision gives you a reason to endure. It reminds you why the fire is necessary, why struggle is important, and why perseverance is essential. Vision coupled with faith under fire creates a forward momentum that cannot easily be stopped. Faith under fire teaches the power of discipline. Discipline is doing what must be done even when you don't feel like it, even when the circumstances are discouraging, and even when the reward is not immediate. Fire often challenges your consistency, your focus, and your habits. Without discipline, fire can overwhelm you, your productivity can collapse, and your mindset can deteriorate. But with discipline, faith under fire turns into action. Discipline transforms belief into results. It turns hope into achievement. It allows you to keep building, preparing, and advancing even when obstacles appear insurmountable. Discipline ensures that your faith is not merely theoretical, but functional, effective, and productive. Faith under fire also requires reflection. Reflection allows you to understand the lessons embedded in each trial. It allows you to learn from mistakes, to identify growth opportunity, and to adjust your approach without losing confidence. Fire often forces you to confront truths about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your habits, and your relationship. Reflection is the process of extracting wisdom from adversity. Without reflection, pain becomes meaningless, challenges become discouraging, and struggle becomes cyclical. Faith under fire uses reflection as a tool to transform experiences into knowledge, suffering into insight, and trials into teaching moments. Faith under fire develops gratitude. It's easy to be thankful when life is going well, but faith under fire allows you to experience a deeper, more profound sense of gratitude. When you endure struggles, when you survive hardships, and when you overcome adversity, gratitude becomes not just a feeling, but a recognition of growth, resilience, and divine timing. Gratitude under fire transforms perspective. It shifts focus from what is lacking to what is being gained. It helps you see progress, even when results are not yet visible. It turns setbacks into stepping stones and challenges into opportunities. Gratitude fortifies faith because it centers your heart on hope and acknowledgement rather than despair. Faith under fire is relational as well. It requires building a support system of people who will encourage, challenge, and uplift you during difficult seasons. Fire often isolates, but those who walk with you through it provide strength, accountability, and perspective. Faith under fire does not mean walking alone. It means discerning who is aligned with your journey and allowing their support to reinforce your resilience. These relationships are not just about emotional comfort. They are about strategic, practical, and spiritual alignment. Surrounding yourself with the right people amplifies the power of faith under pressure because you can share wisdom, encouragement, and strategy, making the load lighter and the path clearer. Faith under fire is about endurance over time. One test does not define your faith. It's the cumulative effect of repeated trials, consistent belief, and persistent action that solidifies it. Life is rarely easy, and challenges often repeat in different forms until the lessons are mastered. Enduring faith requires patience, courage, discipline, and reflection to remain strong through multiple waves of adversity. Every trial survives, strengthens confidence, teaches resilience, and proves that you are capable of navigating whatever comes next. The longer your faith endures, the more unshakable it becomes. Faith under fire ultimately leads to transformation. Those who survive trials and maintain belief are never the same afterward. The fire changes perspective, enhances character, strengthens resilience, deepens understanding, and increases spiritual maturity. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become proof of capacity. Pain that once seemed unbearable becomes testimony. Setbacks that once seemed like failures become preparation. The fire produces not only endurance, but refinement. It produces strength, clarity, wisdom, and leadership. Those who embrace faith under fire emerge more powerful, more capable, and more prepared to handle responsibilities, opportunities, and blessings that were previously out of reach. Faith under fire is not simply about surviving. It's about thriving in spite of and because of the fire. It's about using the adversity, challenges, setbacks, and pressures to grow beyond what you believe possible. It's about harnessing struggle as a tool for personal development, spiritual depth, and future success. The fire is not your enemy. It is your ally, your teacher, your crucible, and your refining agent. Those who understand and embrace faith under fire gain not only the victory over current challenges, but also the preparation for greater opportunities ahead. Finally, faith under fire requires vision, persistence, and unwavering trust. You must trust that the fire is not destructive, but transformative. You must persist even when outcomes are invisible. You must maintain your vision even when the path is uncertain. You must hold on to your purpose even when the world tells you to quit. Faith under fire is active, it is intentional, it is courageous, it is disciplined, it is resilient, and most importantly, it is rewarded. Those who endure the fire, who learn from it, who grow through it, and who continue to move forward despite it, will find that the very circumstances designed to challenge them have actually prepared them for a level of greatness, influence, and fulfillment that they could never have reached without the fire. Faith under fire is the ultimate test of character. It reveals your true strength, sharpens your focus, expands your resilience, deepens your wisdom, and strengthens your spirit. The fire does not destroy. It reveals, refines, and elevates. The trials you face are not detours. They are direct paths to your destiny. Every struggle is purposeful. Every setback is strategic. Every challenge is a stepping stone. And every moment of faith maintained under pressure positions you to rise higher, go further, and achieve more than you could have imagined. Faith under fire is not about comfort. It is about growth. It's not about ease. It's about transformation. It is not about surviving. It's about thriving. And when you walk through the fire with faith, you do not emerge as the person you were. You emerge as the person you were always meant to become. As we draw this journey of understanding faith under fire to a close, let me remind you that life is never meant to be easy, but it is always meant to be meaningful. The trials, the setbacks, the disappointments, the frustrations, the moments of doubt and fear, they are not enemies. They are teachers. They are not punishments. They are preparations. Every time you feel overwhelmed, every time you feel like giving up, every time the weight of your circumstances threatens to break you, remember that these are the moments that are shaping you into the person you are destined to become. Faith under fire is not simply about holding on. It's about growing through. It's about allowing the fire to reveal what is inside you, to awaken the strength you never knew you had, to ignite the courage that lies dormant, and to illuminate the potential that has been waiting for the right conditions to emerge. The fire does not come to consume you. It comes to construct you, to refine you, to build a foundation so strong that nothing in the future can shake it. You see, when your faith is tested, it's revealing your true capacity for belief, resilience, and perseverance. It is showing you how much you are willing to endure, how much you are willing to sacrifice, and how committed you are to the vision that burns inside of you. Every trial is a measure, every obstacle is a test, and every challenge is a step toward uncovering the greatness that has been placed within you. And let me tell you something, those who succeed are not necessarily the ones with the easiest journey. They are the ones who face adversity, who confront fire, who stand unshaken when everything around them seems to crumble, and who continue to move forward because they know that the fire is shaping, not destroying them. Faith under fire is about refusing to be defined by circumstances. It is about refusing to let temporary setbacks dictate permanent outcomes. It is about seeing beyond what is visible, trusting what is promised, and standing firm even when the ground beneath you is shaking. Understand this. Faith under fire is active, not passive. I pass. It is not a quiet, wishful thinking that waits for problems to disappear. It is the deliberate choice to act, to move, to step forward in spite of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. It is the decision to maintain integrity when shortcuts seem easier. It is the choice to stay committed when others abandon you. It is the discipline to keep preparing, keep building, and keep believing when results are not yet apparent. That is the power of faith under fire, faith under fire. It is alive. It is persistent. It is unrelenting. It refuses to give up, refuses to settle, and refuses to compromise. The fire will try to shake you, but faith will anchor you. It will test you, but it will also elevate you. It will push you to your limits, but it will reveal your limitless potential. Every struggle, every moment of pain, every challenge you endure is not in vain. There is purpose behind every test, strategy behind every setback. There is a lesson embedded in every trial. And the more you recognize the purpose of the fire, the more you will rise above it. Some of you have been through storms that felt unbearable. Some of you have faced obstacles that seemed impossible to overcome. Some of you have been rejected, overlooked, or betrayed when you gave your best and expected nothing less than support. And yet, here you are still standing. You are still breathing. You are still dreaming. That alone is proof that your faith is stronger than you realize, that your spirit is resilient, and that your destiny is still unfolding in alignment with your perseverance and your belief. Faith under fire also teaches patience. Patience is one of the hardest lessons to learn because it requires trust in the process when results are invisible, trusting timing when the world seems delayed, and trusting that the fire is purposeful when it burns so intensely. Patience allows you to endure without despair. It allows you to wait without giving up. It allows you to prepare while anticipating, to strengthen while enduring, and to trust while being tested. Those who cultivate patience under fire are the ones who reach higher, go further, and achieve more because they do not allow the immediate pain or discomfort to derail them. They understand that timing is as critical as effort, that growth cannot be rushed, and that every season of fire is ultimately preparing them for a level of life that would have been impossible without it. Courage is another essential element of faith under fire. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward in spite of fear. Fire will provoke fear. Fire will create uncertainty. Fire will challenge every comfort you have known. But courage allows you to take that first step even when you cannot see the entire path. Courage gives you the strength to rise when you feel broken, to speak when your voice trembles, to act when hesitation is screaming louder than confidence. Every courageous step you take under fire multiplies your faith. Every decision to move forward despite fear expands your capacity to achieve, to endure, and to thrive. Courage is the muscle that strengthens with every trial, and faith under fire is the gym where that muscle is built. Resilience is forged in the fire. Resilience is the ability to recover, adapt, and continue even when the odds seem insurmountable. Resilience is not developed in comfort, in ease, or in abundance. It is developed in hardship, in struggle, and in the moments when giving up seems like the easiest option. Faith under fire is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about enduring it with a purpose. It is about allowing each challenge to strengthen, each setback to teach, and each moment of pain to refine your spirit. Those who master resilience under fire are unstoppable because they understand that failure is temporary, that pain is instructive, and that perseverance always pays off in the end. Faith under fire is also about vision. Vision allows you to see beyond the immediate struggle to the future possibilities. It gives you a reason to endure when the present feels unbearable. It allows you to hold on to hope when everything in your environment seems to contradict it. Vision connects your current effort to your ultimate destiny. It helps you make decisions that align with your purpose rather than your temporary emotions. Faith without vision can be aimless. Faith with vision becomes unstoppable. The fire will test your vision, but if you keep your eyes on the ultimate prize, the fire will only sharpen it. Let me remind you that fire does not come to destroy your destiny. It comes to strengthen it. Fire removes distractions. It eliminates weakness. It tests patience. It challenges courage, and it develops resilience. It prepares you for greater responsibility, for higher achievement, and for deeper fulfillment. When you understand the purpose of fire, it changes the way you experience it. You no longer see it as a threat, but as a teacher. You no longer see it as an obstacle, but as a stepping stone. You no longer see it as an enemy, but as an ally. And when you internalize this understanding, faith under fire becomes a source of power, clarity, and transformation. Gratitude is another essential element of enduring fire. It may seem counterintuitive to feel thankful in moments of struggle, but gratitude shifts perspective. Gratitude allows you to focus on what you still have, what you are learning, and what you are becoming rather than what has been lost or what is missing. It allows you to recognize growth that is invisible, victories that are quiet, and progress that is gradual. Gratitude under fire strengthens your faith because it centers your heart on hope and possibility rather than despair and limitation. Faith under fire is not about avoiding pain, challenges, or difficulty. It is about navigating them with purpose, courage, and resilience. It is about recognizing that the trials you face today are the very tools that will shape your strength, clarity, and character for tomorrow. Those who embrace fire do not merely survive, they thrive. They emerge stronger, wiser, more capable, and more aligned with their purpose than they ever were before. They understand that every obstacle carries a lesson, every challenge carries an opportunity, and every moment of discomfort carries the seeds of transformation. As we conclude, remember this. The fire will come. It may come in the form of loss, rejection, betrayal, failure, or unforeseen challenges. It may shake your faith, challenge your patience, test your courage, and question your vision. But if you hold fast, if you endure, if you trust the process, the fire will not destroy you. It will refine you. It will prepare you. It will elevate you. It will elevate you. It will align you with the life you are meant to live, the purpose you are meant to fulfill, and the destiny you were created to achieve. So stand tall, stand firm, stand unshaken. Let the fire purify your intentions, strengthen your resolve, expand your capacity, and deepen your faith. Do not shrink from it, do not fear it, and do not resist it. Embrace it as the force that will propel you into the fullness of your potential. The fire is not your enemy. It is your invitation to rise higher, reach further, and become the person you were always meant to be. Every scar, every tear, every moment of struggle, and every trial is a testament to your endurance. Every challenge survived is a proof of your courage. Every step taken in faith is a declaration of your resilience. And every obstacle overcome is evidence that you are stronger than the circumstances you face. Faith under fire is not just about what happens to you. It is about how you respond, how you persevere, and how you rise. The fire will come, but so will the strength it produces. The trials will test you, but so will the growth they inspire. The hardships will challenge you, but so will the transformation they create. Walk forward with courage. Stand tall with conviction. Endure with resilience. Believe with unwavering faith. Hold your vision with clarity. Trust the process with patience. Honor your journey with gratitude. And never forget that the fire is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your guide, and your ally. Those who embrace it, endure it, and rise through it will experience a life of purpose, power, and promise beyond imagination. Faith under fire is not temporary. It is timeless. It is not weak. It is unstoppable. It is not easy. It is necessary. And it is in the fire that the strength, courage, clarity, and vision of your destiny are revealed. So when the fire comes, do not despair. When the trials arrive, do not falter. When the challenges hit, do not shrink. When the world seems against you, do not yield. Hold on to your faith, trust your process, embrace the lessons, and rise higher than you ever thought possible. The fire is not the end. It is the beginning of everything you were created to become. And when you emerge, you will not be the same person who entered the fire. You will be stronger. You will be wiser. You will be more courageous. You will be more resilient. You will be more prepared. You will be more prepared. You will be more aligned. You will be the person you were always destined to be. Faith under fire is your pathway to greatness. It is your refining process, your preparation, your awakening, and your rise. Hold fast, higher, stand unshaken, endure with courage, believe with clarity, move with purpose. And never forget, faith under fire is not a burden to endure, but a privilege to experience. Because it is in the fire that you discover the full power, potential, and purpose of who you were created to be.